am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name's Cameron.
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging out with my man Cameron Buford.
We got some good questions today. I'm a Dolphin fan. There's always room for improvement.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
All we want to see every year are the best two mothers getting in the ring and getting on.
I got some of this for you.
Goodness. For me?
Yeah, just for you.
Think about it like this: the promoter pays the fighter, the fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works
for the promoter. Okay. So you are lifting weights currently? No. When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about these
Aaron, like I was saying before.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fans
Oh my goodness
continues
gracious.
to evolve,
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
The real ones know what's going on, right?
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
You look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do know
real surprised at that, Ken.
Hey, come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sport.
Thank you for making our voice your choice.
If you haven't told your girlfriend about the show, tell her about the show. If you haven't told your boyfriend about the show, tell him about the show. If you haven't told your cousin, your uncle, your grandfather about the show, let everybody know about the Voice of the Fans podcast.
Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do. Yeah.
Hey, what's good, fans? What's good? Thank you for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 361, only because of you guys that I keep coming back. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Thank you. We got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to talk about this week as far as just things go in general, more specifically. About what these Clippers are doing with Chris Paul, this whole scenario, about week 12 in the NFL. Some people say Mike McDaniel's doing just enough to keep his job. Well, these Dolphins shouldn't be fooled by what Tua Tagovailoa is doing down there in week 11 or 12. But we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders got his first start, how he looked. Obviously, we had the Turkey Day. Hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed your holidays with your family. You missed me last week, or I missed you guys last week. I was out covering the Seattle Kraken. If you want to find some Seattle Kraken coverage, go to What's Good in Sports under the sports news. There's a lot of Seattle Kraken coverage there. So that's why I was unable to join you guys and meet up with you guys last week and give you some content. But I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. Obviously, we got Christmas time, New Year's coming around too. So I hope you guys are kind of winding down the year and enjoying this time that you have with your family. I tell you, it is priceless. It is priceless. Oftentimes we overlook this time with our family, but fans, enjoy this time with your family. So, like I said, last week we had a lot went down in the NFL. The Packers outlasted the Lions on Turkey Day. Jordan Love finished with 4 touchdowns. They pulled off a holiday upset or a holiday win. The Cowboys beat up on the Chiefs. Didn't allow the Chiefs to come back. Dak Prescott, 2 touchdowns, over 300 yards passing. The Cowboys or the Chiefs couldn't seem to just stop the Cowboys and get them off the field on third down specifically. The Steelers got beat up. We saw the Steelers get beat up. We saw Aaron Rodgers look all of his age of 42. And I tell you what, when you over 40. Boy, these games don't get any easier. So Aaron Rodgers, we saw, got beat up. Aaron Rodgers got beat up last week, and the Steelers lose, and it sparked, in Pittsburgh, you heard chants of fire Tomlin. That was surprising, wasn't it? That you would hear that, considering now only some of us. There's only a few of us who have been on the fire Tomlin bandwagon, or not hyped up by the Tomlin bandwagon. I think he's kind of overrated myself personally, and have thought so for the last few years. So for him now to be said, the fans are screaming for Tomlin's head, I just find that very interesting. I mean, what is the trigger now? Why now? Because he's doing the same thing he's done for the last 3 or 4 years, is just barely winning, or winning enough games so he's doesn't have a losing record. So he always maintains a winning record. I think it's 16, 17 years straight with a winning record. There's no playoff wins in over 11 years. So I wasn't what's the word for it? I wasn't surprised by the fire Tomlin chance out there. Well, I guess it was, because it was at home against Buffalo. So I guess I was surprised, that only because it was being at home. Other than that, I mean, it's to be expected. But the Bills beat up on the Steelers. We had the Bears beat up on the Eagles. How surprising was that? Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift accounting for most of the Bears running game. The Eagles, for whatever reason, the Eagles' nickname this season should be just can't get right, because they haven't gotten they're not able to get it right yet this season. For whatever reason, they're unable to get it right. So we're going to dub them can't get right guys, the Eagles. Now, they're still such a talented team. Their defense are ferocious, especially their defensive line. And then obviously they have some good cornerbacks. And they have Saquon Barkley. They got Jalen Hurts. They got a nice receiving core. So they're a dangerous team. Just for whatever reason, they're having trouble bringing it all together this season. And that's funny to say for a team that won the Super Bowl to be struggling this bad quickly so soon. Also, other upsets we had the Panthers beat up on the Rams. Bryce Young throwing 2 touchdowns on 4th down. Everybody's surprised by Bryce Young. Bryce Young had something to prove. He wanted to prove that he wasn't the bum and bust that everybody was calling him out to be. So that was a really good win for the Panthers. The Rams, they got Matt Stafford as an MVP. I don't see the MVP. We're gonna have to get my man Eric on for an MVP conversation next week. I don't know who's the MVP. It was Matthew Stafford. He has the most touchdown passes. Devon Adams has the most touchdown receptions. I think they get down low, or they get into the red zone or down below, and within 10 yards, they just start forcing passes to Anthony or Devontae Adams. They just start forcing passes. And I guess you put the ball in your best guy's hands. But with Kyron Williams and my running back on my fantasy teams, I need some running back get some touchdowns. McVay, come on, give the running back the ball every now and then when you get down to the goal line. Nonetheless, the Panthers got a good win by beating 2 interceptions on Stafford, beating the Rams. That was a really good confidence booster for the Panthers. The 49ers beat the Browns in Shador's debut. Now, Shador, he had a touchdown, didn't have no interceptions. He only averaged or had a 64% completion percentage. Only averaged, I think, 6 yards a pass. Wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. He's a rookie quarterback, folks. He's a rookie quarterback. Now this week, he's who the Browns got this week. Let me see. They're not playing the San Francisco 49ers, who known for having a solid defense. They're going to play a team where he should have an opportunity to step up and shine a little bit. And we'll see how he does when he has the full week. Oh, excuse me. They're on a bye this week. No, let me take that back. They play San Francisco. They play Tennessee Titans this week, 12-7 on Sunday, 10 a.m. game. They play the Tennessee Titans. So they have an opportunity. Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity to prepare this week, come out and show what he got. He's going to be competing against the number 1 draft pick, so I'm sure he's putting a little added pressure, added something into a preparation, knowing that he's playing against the number 1 draft pick because he says he's already better than half these guys in the league. So Shedeur Sanders is going to have to get out there and prove himself against the Tennessee Titans, who's not been a world beater. You have an opportunity to do that, Shedeur. The Texans beat the Colts, surprisingly. You had the Dolphins over the Saints. The Jets beat the Falcons. Buccaneers beat the Cardinals. We talked about the Titans over the Jaguars over the Titans. Again, that's an opportunity for you, Shedeur. The Seahawks had a big win against the Vikings, who started a young quarterback who just that defense is too ferocious for a young quarterback. As you see, they went out, they shut him up. Not only did they shut him out, but they're just too ferocious. If not, I don't have any faith in Sam Darnold, but this is a damn good football team, and Sam Darnold going to have to play clean football. Like he's going to have in that running back, those running backs going to have to get the game back together. The Chargers beat the Raiders. Herbert threw 3 interceptions with the injury on a non-throwing hand. And as I was talking about earlier, the Buffalo Bills beat up on the Steelers, just dominated the injured Rodgers throughout this game. The Broncos on Sunday Night Football. I think that was Monday Night Football, actually. I think the Broncos beat the Commanders last week. Commanders played gritty football. Commanders played real gritty football, but just were unable to upseed the Broncos, who's winning a lot of close games. I tend to think these close games build character, and they prepare you for when the season gets tough, when they prepare you for playoff football. The Broncos, we know they like to run the ball. They're not the best at running the ball, but we know they like to running the football, I should say. And they got a quarterback who can make pretty much all the throws in the game. So I think the Broncos, man, you got to give them some credit with their record. So far, their record is decent. You got to give them some credit with the record for where they're at. I mean, they only lost two games to Indy and the Chargers way back in September, in weeks 2 and 3. So they went on a long winning streak. But I think these close games, let's see, they got 6 points, 2 points, 1 point. Against the Cowboys, they beat them by 20. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. 1 point against the Commanders. So, again, I just went down the list of all their close games. Most of their games have been really close. Only against the Cowboys did they beat somebody. Well, they beat the Cincinnati Bengals also 28-3. I think that was when Burrow first went out. So, only twice have they really blown out an opponent. But I think a win is a win is a win. You keep winning, you got to give them credit for winning, right? So good job for them to keep on winning. Now, MVP conversation, I can't go. I mean, this is why we're midway through the season. We're past the midway part of the season. So the talk now is valid. people have been talking about the MVP for 3 and 4 weeks now, which I thought was totally invalid because at that time, Daniel Jones was the MVP candidate, right? At that time, 3 weeks ago, who were we talking about? We're talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba breaking Megatron's record. Okay, that has significantly slowed down. Even Sam Darnold was in that conversation a few weeks ago. So I think it's best that you just wait at least to the midpoint season, if not further. But now we're here in that mark where there's only a few weeks to go, and you got to start looking at this MVP race. And when you look at it's oftentimes the team with the best record or the player with the best record, and we look at, is Drake May an MVP candidate? Well, his team's 11-2, so he has to be almost. Is Josh Allen, who won it last year, is 8-4. I mean, who else you going to give it to? Bo Nix, he's not an MVP candidate, but his team's 11-2. Right? You got your Blondie down there in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, he's 8-4. Is he in the conversation? Baltimore 6-6. I don't know. Herbert, Daniel Jones, I don't think so. It's tough to say this season. And that I just gave you the teams in the AFC. Like, it can't be, you can't give it to Patrick Mahomes when his team is not even in the playoff hunt. He's not playing like he hasn't been. The reason that they're 6-6 is he hasn't played like a MVP this season. So can't give it to him. Caleb Williams, has he turned the corner? Is he in the MVP conversation? He has a 9-3 record tie with the Los Angeles Rams. Hard to see. Matthew Stafford, this becomes a legacy trophy now because Matthew Stafford is had some big games. He threw the Megatron. It would just amaze me. Some people say he didn't have any help in Detroit. Well, he had probably one of the most physical freaks, athletic players in the league, and that's why we call him Megatron because he did have Calvin Johnson's whole entire career. And he didn't win anything. He went to LA. That did, in a sense, kind of confirm that he was a good quarterback. He got with McVay. They won a Super Bowl. We see him competing again, at least for a playoff appearance. Is he having a good season? He's leading the league in touchdown passes. That's totally a quarterback record until he threw 2 interceptions on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers, totally unexpected. He had the longest streak without an interception since, I think, Tom Brady. I think it was some Tom Brady. So he's actually had a good season. I think, again, they do a shout out to my man, Rob Parker, because he does a lot of padding. Excuse me, fans. He does a lot of stat padding, and again, that's my argument with them throwing it at the goal line. They throw a ton of touchdowns at the goal line. So, I don't know. The MVP, we're gonna have to get my man on Eric next week, and we have some MVP conversations. But I'm gonna tell you the best teams in the NFL right now. I'll give you how I have them in the AFC and how I have them in the NFC. In the AFC, I have the Patriots and the Broncos. You can't argue it. 11-2, 10-2. The Colts are behind them. I still think the Colts are a really good team, basically because they have a good running game, a good defense, a good running game, a good defense, and a good offensive line. What Daniel Jones does is a deciding factor. How good is he going to be in the playoffs when the games matter? That's going to determine their altitude. I got the Bills and the Jaguars rounding out my top 5. I think the Bills are still a good team. Their defense needs to improve, obviously. But I think when you focus on the offense and you try to outscore everybody, you have a quarterback like Josh Allen who typically does put up a lot of points, 21, 24 points a game, is other teams going to be able to do that as well. We'll see how that shakes out. But I think I have them at number 4. I think the Jaguars, kind of by default, they round out my top 5 in the AFC. In the NFC, even though they lost to the Carolina Panthers, it doesn't change. I still got the Rams over the Seahawks. The Green Bay Packers come back. Number 3 in the NFC. I have them ahead of the Eagles, behind the Seahawks, and the Bears snuck into my top 5. I mean, you can't ignore their record. The Bears are snuck into my top 5 now. I don't believe that they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. They may slip into the playoffs and win a game, just because they play good defense. They got a good running game, and Caleb Williams makes a play or two every game. They're just looking for that continuous consistency. Give him a few years, he'll be really consistent on this. But right now, I think the Bears are ahead of schedule, I'd say. But kudos to the Bears. And for the teams I have overall, I have the Rams as the number 1 team. I have the Seahawks as the number 2 team in the NFL. I have the Patriots, the Bears, and the Broncos. Now, the immediate question someone would ask is, why do you have the Bears behind the Eagles in the NFC, but you have the Bears ahead of the Eagles in the NFL supremacy rankings? Well, because it's my rankings. That's the start. And then the Eagles, I do think the Eagles have they're a championship team. And so once it can click, they can turn on the switch. I would trust the Eagles flipping the switch versus the Bears flipping the switch. The Eagles just need to find their switch. The Bears, we don't know if they have a switch. That's what that comes down to. So I think ultimately, I think the Eagles are going to be have a longer playoff run than the Bears, in my opinion. That's just my opinion again. But my picks are 65% this past week, so you guys might want to pay attention. Let me tell you who I had winning last week. So last week, obviously, I picked the Dolphins over the Saints, and they won. I had the Bears. I had the Packers over the Lions. I had the Chiefs over the Cowboys. They lost. I had the Ravens over the Bengals. They lost. I had the Eagles over the Bears, who played for that. They were fight for that position there. The Bears won. Oh, so I might have to just reconsider my list, fans. The Bears won. I had the Niners over the Browns. The Jaguars over the Titans. I had the Colts over the Texans, and Texans won that game, so I lost that one too. I had the Falcons over the Jets. I didn't know which way to go in that one. I don't like either one of those teams. But I picked the Falcons, and the Jets ended up winning. Cardinals and Buccaneers. Buccaneers won that game. Rams beat the Panthers beat the Rams, excuse me. Buffalo beat the Steelers, as I mentioned. The Chargers were over the Raiders, Broncos over the Commanders, and I had the Patriots over the Jaguars on this weekend. Coming up this week, did not do my picks for this week in preparation for the show tonight, but I'll run down my picks as they come, still as they do, just looking at the board. Any surprises? What's been the biggest surprise in the NFL? Are you guys surprised that the Heisman Trophy winner didn't play a full season? Does that surprise any of you guys that Travis Hunter didn't play a full season? Are you surprised by Ashton Genty's lack of production? Does that surprise either one of you guys? What surprises? Hit me up in the chat. What surprises have been most surprising to you guys this season? What's good, Barry? Hit the link, Barry, so we can join you on your sports show as well. What surprises have you guys experienced this season in the NFL? You surprised that Joe Burrow went out? Are you surprised by the Seahawks? Are you surprised by Sam Darnold doing it as well as he has done, minus the last couple of weeks? What has surprised most of you guys in the NFL? Talk to me. Are you surprised by Jordan Love? Does Jordan Love surprise you guys? Or does he play as expected? Just curious. Are you guys surprised the Cowboys defense is stuck so bad for so long and then all of a sudden has turned it around? Do you think they can make the playoffs? I don't think the Cowboys will make the playoffs, but does that surprise any of you guys? Just curious. Sam Darnold. Is Sam Darnold going to turn into a pumpkin? That's a question that really should be asked. Does Sam Darnold turn into a pumpkin at midnight? And is it midnight Eastern time or Pacific Standard Time? Which time is it? That's what we need to be trying to figure out. But we got more halfway through the NFL season. We got a lot more football to be played. So no definitive answers are needed today. So we will revisit that. Okay, fans, let's get into it. Well, a lot of you guys are tuned in, I'm sure. Excuse me. Fans, this Clippers versus CP3 situation, let's talk about it. Now, I want to tell a story about the Clippers. I want to tell the story about my experience with the Clippers. How about that? My experience with the Clippers, my experience with Steve Ballmer, Doc Rivers, and Ty Lue, etc. They've always been open, and not always. I say most times they've been open, inviting, and welcoming to me personally. For those that don't know, I kind of started my sports writing career covering the Clippers, and then it branched to the NFL, branched off to the covering the Rams and some of the Chargers, a lot of the Chargers. And then I just kind of took it from there, but I really started with the Los Angeles Clippers. Actually requesting credentials and becoming a sports writer with the Clippers and the Chargers for the most part, but in Los Angeles. So some things has happened that I experienced while being in a room with the Clippers. And it was post the Lob City era, although if I took the story back a little even further, when I first got to LA, I could not jump on the Lakers bandwagon. Did not want to jump on the Lakers bandwagon. So I said, what the hell? I love the NBA. I'll become a Clipper fan. I'll see everything that the Clippers see, except we won't be paying those prices. Well, until playoff time came around and championship time came around. But I did not want to jump on the Lakers bandwagon, so I could not become a Laker fan. So I was like, I'll root for the Clippers. So as I started rooting for the Clippers, I think the first game, it was the first game that the first playoff game where my fandom was tested was against the Portland Trailblazers, Lakers against the Portland Trailblazers, that Shaq and Kobe, D. Fox, Derek Fisher, and that Laker squad playing the Scottie Pippen-led Portland Trailblazers. And I made it very clear that I was not a Laker fan at the house party that I was at. And then that was, for those that remember the moment, that was when Kobe shook up Pippen and threw the lob to Shaq. And then they went to the NBA Finals, and they won their three-peat, et cetera, et cetera. I was there for all of that, but I didn't want to be a Laker fan, so I kind of had to hate on them and root against them. But in that house party was my first season in LA, if you will, and then everybody was giving me shit then because the Lakers are now, not only had I not been rooting for the Lakers, but now the Lakers are going to the championship, and they were going to play the lowly Philadelphia 76ers, who, if you remember the squad, Mutombo was not going to stop Shaq. So that was that right there. And they start partying weeks before the parade happened. So years later, kind of snuck into the Clippers coverage. And when it was weird because Ty Lue was playing Ty Lue, they had an undermanned squad in 2018, 2017, 2018. They had the squad wasn't filled with a lot of talent, but they were a gutsy squad and had a lot of comebacks. In fact, they came back on those 2017 Golden State Warriors from I think it was 25 or 35 down, one of the two, like a historical comeback. Like they were doing that on a regular basis, playing inspired basketball. Ty Lue took over this job, showed that he can actually coach his team. He can actually get the best out of some of these guys that they had. And this was before the Paul George trade, this was before the Paul George trade, before they acquired Kawhi Leonard. Now, guys, if we talk about this for a moment, the year that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was drafted, I was at the Clippers. He was a rookie. I was at the Clippers media day where they kick off the season. Everybody's come back from their vacations, healthy, ready to go, right? They introduced Shai. Now, everybody saw Shai. Well, he didn't play a lot in Kentucky, but they saw the talent and said, okay, this guy can be good. Jerry West, the great Jerry West, most of you guys know him as a logo today, was a consultant for the Clippers at the time. Now, this media day had kind of wrapped up. We conducted our interviews, as much interviews as we could. I was just hanging around me and my guy was hanging around the court. We could have left. We could have left probably 30 minutes ago, but we just didn't leave, and we're just kind of packing up, just kind of hang out and chatting for the most part. My guy, I'm 5'11", my guy's 5'10", so we're standing next to each other just chatting, just kind of chatting it up. And then all of a sudden, I feel an arm around me. A guy comes, stands, like didn't get in between us, but puts her arm around me, puts her arm around him. And the weird thing is I felt the arm around my shoulder. I saw the arm around my man's shoulder. So I'm immediately thinking, how huge is this dude? Who the heck is this? I look up and it's Jerry West. And I'm like, okay, Jerry. I think Jerry was on something there, but it was Jerry might have been a little sauce, but okay. Jerry says, you see that guy over there? Pointing at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's doing his pictures, ball palming the ball, sticking it in front of the camera, letting him take his jersey, dribbling and all that, doing all this stuff. He says Darius Garland, the other point guard in the draft, big name point guard in the draft, he said Darius Garland cannot hold this guy's jock strap. Oh. Okay, now this coming from Jerry West. This just put a lot of, in my eyes, in my opinion, this put a lot of, I wouldn't say pressure, but this put a lot on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shoulder when he said this. It's like, okay, now this kid is supposed to be something. You got Jerry West speaking up for you. We got to pay attention. Jerry West, we know his history. I just talked about Shaq and Kobe going to the NBA Finals on a three-peat. So we know there's history there. We know Jerry West can spot him, and he spotted this kid. He pointed it out to me specifically, me and my guy. So I had to open my eyes wide to Shai and say, okay, now let's see who this guy is. So Shai go ahead, plays his rookie year. You see the talent there. You can see he's sleek. You can see he has jumper. You see he has work ethic. You see he get his shots off. You can see all of these things early. But he just was a rookie. He got time. Doc gave him some time. He started playing more to the end of the season. But you saw the talent was there. Meanwhile, all the buzz in the air that whole year, that whole 2018 season, all the buzz is that Kawhi is coming to the Clippers. Now, the weird thing, this was a buzz through the season that he's in Toronto. Most of the people assumed that he wasn't going to stay in Toronto, but no one really knew. All the buzz was that he's coming to Toronto, or he's coming to LA. Hearing this well in advance before it actually happened was weird, because it's like you hear something so often, it becomes the truth. We heard it rampant, and it heard it so much that I was like, okay, come on. This can't, if I'm hearing this and I'm not the insider, everybody else got to be hearing this. That means it might be too much out there that makes it not going to be true. So anyway, as it turns out, as you guys know the story, Kawhi agreed, but he said we have to be ready win now mode. And Kawhi didn't think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was in win now mode. As the story is told to me, Doc Rivers told Kawhi, this dude is ready. Kawhi said, I want to win next year, not in a couple years. Let's get Paul George. You get Paul George in here, that makes us unbeatable. In fact, I'm not going to come unless you guys get Paul George. So then they got to make the trade for Paul George. But when you think about it, you're not only making the trade, Shea, for PG and all those draft picks. You're making that trade to ensure that you get Kawhi Leonard. So they acquired Kawhi Leonard by signing. They make all these trades. They send all these picks to OKC and send Shea to OKC for Paul George, because that's what Kawhi wanted. Most of the GMs in the league would have did what Kawhi asked them to do at that time. We can't play revisionist history and be like, that trade stunk. It was a terrible trade. It was a terrible package, because look at who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is now. I think the only person who knew who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would become is not with us anymore, and that's Jerry West. Most GMs at that time in the summer of 2019 would have traded the farm for Kawhi Leonard, coming off the championship he led Toronto to, the only championship, the only international championship the NBA has seen. Paul George at the time was recovered from that terrible leg injury, was known as a top flight two-way defender. You put two of those guys together on the team, those guys are going to be unbeatable. That's how most people saw it. Before things happened. Now, obviously, Kawhi comes, he gets hurt, PG gets hurt. They both have dueling seasons where they hurt and don't play. So looking back at it now, it's been a failure. But I'm telling you now, fans, that any GM at that time most GMs at that time would have made that move. Oddly enough, fans, I've been saying since 2020 that they needed a Chris Paul-like point guard. I thought Rajon Rondo was going to be the answer for them. But I thought they needed a Chris Paul-like point guard, because Chris Paul is going to direct everybody, get them to the right spots, and get his team easy shots. Look at what he did with Devin Booker. He was getting Devin Booker easy shots, and he's helping making Devin Booker a leader. That's how he got to the finals that year. Look at what he did with the San Antonio Spurs. He elevated the San Antonio Spurs last year higher than most people anticipated that the San Antonio Spurs should be elevated. But they grew because of Chris Paul. I thought that they needed Chris Paul-like point guard, somebody who can get their stars easy buckets in their shooting spots, in their wheelhouse. They never did. I always mentioned to my colleagues down there in LA that they needed a Chris Paul-like point guard But there's not a lot of those guys around. Not anymore. Who's a past first point guard? The second leader in assists in NBA history. There's just not a lot of those guys around. And so when they signed him, they needed Chris Paul 5 years ago. They didn't need Chris Paul this offseason. They needed him 5 years ago. So Chris Paul comes in, and he's calling everybody out. Here's what you're doing wrong. You need to be doing this. You guys need to come and practice earlier. These guys are veterans, Chris Paul. They're not. These are your colleagues. They're not your rookies. You're not the vet that's training these new guys. These are veterans in the NBA. Now, none of you guys have been in championships. The only guy who won a championship is Kawhi Leonard. So Chris Paul couldn't have been saying, well, how we won our championships was like this. He couldn't have been saying that. But it's just weird how they sent him home. The Clippers did. Now, there's a lot of talk about Lawrence Frank, and I, too, question Lawrence Frank's effectiveness and exactly what is he doing. Is he Ballmer's guy? Is he Ty Lue's guy? Is he just trying to keep the peace with Ty Lue? Or is he just trying to keep the peace with Ballmer? Who knows what Lawrence Frank's job is? Is Lawrence Frank making the decision? Does he have full autonomy to make all the decisions, or he and Ty Lue work together? That I don't know. That doesn't seem to be a marriage, a partnership that's working that well together, Ty Lue and Lawrence Frank. I don't know if Ty Lue is just a coach. All you do is coach. Do they want his input on personnel decisions? That I don't know. Be a good question, something I can dig around for this week. But this bringing Paul CP3 in, first is 5 years too late. They've already known the type of personality that Chris Paul has. Like, he's going to come in, and if you want to say holding people accountable, that's telling people what they're doing wrong and what they're not doing correctly. If you haven't been around here, the programs for so long, how are you doing that? Those Lob City days are a long time ago, fans. We can't. Chris Paul might be, him or Blake Griffin are probably the most historic Clippers players. Yes, the first in line to get their numbers retired by the team, sure. But those years are a long time ago. Like, I don't know that anybody was thought when they saw Chris Paul in the number 3 jersey that they were going to get the reincarnation of the Lob City days. I don't think anyone thought that. But with that being said, does Chris Paul realize that these aren't the Lob City days anymore? Did he realize that his value isn't so much in leading and guiding and directing, is more coaching and assisting? Did he realize that value factor has changed? His value factor had changed for him. And apparently, he and Ty Lue weren't not even getting along isn't the right word. They weren't even speaking. They weren't on speaking terms. Now, that's very odd. Although Chris Paul wasn't a starter, I mean, I would think that a point guard should be in tune with another point guard being the head coach. And for you guys not to be in tune, that seemed kind of odd. He was asking for a meeting with Ty Lue because there was speculation that he was a cancer, or he was something. He was divisive on the team, and he wanted to clear that up. And Ty never met with him for whatever reason. And so here we are. Again, did Ty call up and say, Lawrence, we got to get this guy out of here? I don't know. Did Lawrence, clearly it's an issue, but the Clippers just continue to be a mess this year, and they're going to have to blow this up. And does Ty Lue stick around for the blow up or the rebuild? Because they're going to have to blow this thing up. It's been a mess. It's been a mess. And does Ty stick around? Does he want to stick around? I don't know. But it's been a mess for them. They got all season to figure this thing out. And the sad part about it, what makes it even worse, is that they can be as bad as they want, and they don't get to keep their draft pick. They don't get to keep their draft pick. Like, they're going to be – their draft pick, whatever it is, goes to OKC Thunder, period. I think as of last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder have the great opportunity of having the number 6 pick, the number 9 pick, and the number 12 pick. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just won the NBA championship last season and has the best record in NBA this season, can very well have 3 picks in the top in the lottery of the NBA draft. Very well have 3 picks. And that has the NBA really shaking because they're a young team. Clearly they know how to coach. Clearly they work hard. That has the NBA it kind of shaking. Another story this week in the NBA is Giannis meets with the Bucks, essentially, to request a trade. Thoughts are that he wants to go to the Knicks. But what do you do if you're the Bucks? Do you play it out and just try to keep Giannis happy and do the best you can this year? Or do you trade him to the highest bidder, even if it's not the Knicks? The Knicks, do you want Giannis? Like, who are you going to give up to get Giannis? Are you giving up Karl Anthony Towns? Is he going or he's staying? The Knicks got to. What do you guys do? What do you do if you're the Knicks? Do you clean the book, clear the slate for Giannis, and then it becomes Giannis and Brunson? So this is going to be a story that's not going away. Obviously, we got till February when the trade deadline comes on, but this story will not go away. The Giannis with the Bucks. I didn't think Giannis went to lead the Bucks, but we see otherwise. Devin Booker sidelined with the groin injury, expected to miss at least 2 weeks. Man, I'm never gonna squawk at any of these muscle tears, groin injury, hamstring tears. Boy, fellas, I tore my hamstring or stretched my hamstring. I want to know if it's torn. I'd say I stretched it, bro. Pretty darn good this week. Sunday morning, in fact. And it's just now feeling like I'm not limping around. Boy, this thing has been burning. It's been on fire for 3 days, boy, this hamstring injury. Ooh. So these players, sit out, Devin. Take your time. Get healthy. A couple guys taking their time is Paolo Banchero for the Orlando Magic and Victor Wembanyama for the Spurs. Both these teams are playing good without him. The Magic are 8-2. They lost tonight, I think. I'm pretty sure the Spurs won. So to make the Spurs 7-3 respectively, and the Magic 8-3. But those guys have been playing without. That's surprising. I think it's good. I think it's better for Orlando that they win without Paolo, because it gives the other guys the confidence that they can win without Paolo. I want Wemby on the court. I don't want these guys to know what it's like to play without Wemby. I want Wemby on the court if I'm a Spurs. So I think it's better for the Magic that they win in, and less so for the Spurs. How about Zach Edey? Zach Edey's been balling lately, fans. I think he's averaging 17 and 12 the last 4 games. A lot of you guys say Zach Edey can't play. He's been balling. It just took him some time. He got to get physically caught up to the game. We also had the T-Wolves and the Pelicans went to a 149-142 overtime win. Anthony Edwards had 44 in that game. The Celtics and the Knicks a couple nights ago, the Celtics beat the Knicks 123-117. Jaylen Brown scored 42 points. There's back-to-back nights that a Celtic had scored 42 points. Peyton Pritchard was the other guy just a couple nights ago. So the Celtics, they're not at the top of the division, but they're doing well. The Trailblazers. Now, the Trailblazers beat OKC. Their only team this season to beat OKC. But on Sunday, I went to see the revenge. OKC take it back to Portland. In that game, Denny Avdija is Portland. He's a forward in Portland. He had 31, 19 rebounds, 10 assists that night. He's overlooked. Check him. If you haven't seen him play, go check him out. He's overlooked. He looks like a Alfred Şengün, but he's with point guard skills. It was pretty remarkable, actually. Very impressive. The Sixers, 121-102 against the Wizards. Embiid had a double-double. If Embiid can come around and you got Maxey, the young stud right there, doing his thing, these Sixers are gonna make some noise. And then you have the Thunder extending their win streak again. But those Sixers, how much VJ Edgecombe? How much do you guys think the Sixers can get to at least number 3 or 4 in the Western or the Eastern Conference? Excuse me, in a playoff race? Can the Sixers do that? I mean, the Sixers. I tell you what, they get anything out of it. Be Edgecombe. They still got Edgecombe. They still got Paul George to come alive. They can get something out of him. But I really like that duel, the backcourt of Edgecombe and Maxey, and get these veterans, these old guys, to contribute something. Like we're cooking with grease in Philly. The old guys being Embiid, Paul George, and Embiid and Paul George being the old guys. Edgecombe and Maxey obviously being the newcomers. Kevin Durant fans is 400. When I did this prep anyway, is 480 points from passing Wilt Chamberlain for 7th in all-time scoring. He's climbing the list. He's climbing that list. Fans, we are here. Want to give a shout out to the Great American Casino, 14040 Interurban Avenue South. That's Tuckahoe, Washington, 98168. Once again, that's 14040 Interurban Avenue South, Tuckahoe, Washington. The Great American Casino. Every week they have bonus free play Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Qualified players can receive up to $1,000 in free play, and they have 2 winners every hour. So that's a good reason to come down. They have one of the best happy hours in the city, in the market. Nice drink specials, nice food specials. So come on down to the Great American Casino at 14040 Interurban Avenue South, Tuckahoe, Washington. Again, shout out to them for allowing me to do my show every week from there, and I broadcast to you live from the Great American Casino. They do play the football games on Sunday as well, especially the Seattle games, and they have the NBA games here during the week as well. They do have the fights as well when we're going to get into some of these boxing matches, but they do carry the fights here as well too. So, fans, This Week in History segment. December 1, 1955. Lady by the name of Rosa Parks sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, as she refused to give up her seat for a white man in Montgomery, Alabama, and is arrested for violating the city's racial segregation laws by an incident which led to the Montgomery bus boycott. It's wild how such an incident in small town of Montgomery really changed it really changed the pace of history. It changed that situation changed in 1955 it changed the arc of history. So kudos to Rosa for doing her thing. November 30th, 1982, Michael Jackson released Thriller. Later, the best selling album ever. If you guys remember Michael Jackson and Thriller, boy, whew. Mike was doing his thing. December 2nd, 1994, Tupac Shakur found guilty of sexually abusing a woman, but was cleared for more of the more serious sex charges and weapons charges. So he had to go to jail back in December 2nd in 1994, for those who remember. December 3rd, 1970, Jennifer Josephine Holston of Grenada becomes the first Black Miss World. December 3rd, 1970. December 3rd, 1970, Moneta Sleet Jr. of Ebony Magazine is awarded a Pulitzer Prize for photography and becomes the first African American male to be cited by the Pulitzer Committee. December 4th, 1969, Black Panther Party member Fred Hampton and Mark Clark are shot and killed in their sleep during a raid by 14 Chicago police officers. Another sad moment in history. Fans, the only thing else I want to talk about is movie releases. So some of the biggest that were released here in this week in history: Frozen 2019, released November 22nd. Wicked 2024. Moana, released 2024, November 27. Those are some of the movie releases that were released kind of this week in history, if you will. I never Predator Badlands is 2 weeks in. Have you seen that one? Have you guys seen that one? Predator Badlands. Anybody care to see that one? Fans, we got coming up this week again. Boxing. We got Pitbull taking on Lamont Roach on December 6th in San Antonio this week. That's this weekend. No, we saw David Benavidez beat up Anthony Yard to win the WBC lightweight title. Those who you watch Norman versus Haney. And Haney, hold on. Haney's out. He's just going to outpoint you. That's what Haney looks like. He's just outpointing his opponent. But he beat up Norman. Norman didn't look into it. We got December 27th. Well, let me back up. The Inoue fight was postponed. So that's coming up on the 22nd. But on the December 19th, just a couple of weeks away, fans, we got Anthony Joshua is going to take on Jake Paul in Miami. On that same card, Anderson Silva is going to fight Tyron Woodley. I'm not excited about either one of these guys fighting. Anderson Silva, whose leg snapped in a boxing in an MMA match, if you remember, versus Tyron Woodley, who was already knocked out by Jake Paul. So he's collecting some more money. I'm not excited about that fight, but it's going to be on the fight card to get us to Joshua and Jake, which Joshua, boy, you better put some work in. I don't know if there's an athlete with more pressure on him than Anthony Joshua. Over these next couple of weeks, I don't know what athlete has more pressure on him. Messi in the World Cup, maybe. I don't know what athlete has more pressure. Shedeur Sanders, no, because he'll get another chance. This ain't the end of the line for Shedeur. I don't know what athlete, and think about this, fans, what athlete has more pressure on them than Anthony Joshua in these next couple of weeks to perform. If he doesn't pulverize Jake Paul, everybody's gonna laugh at him. I'm not sure he can go back home to England if he doesn't pulverize Jake Paul. If it's a close fight, he loses. If he doesn't pulverize this man, it's a embarrassment. You got Inoue fighting David Picasso on December 27th. And then, I might have to get on a plane for this one here. You got Shakur Stevenson taking on Teofimo Lopez in New York City on January 31. Oh, boy. If you guys didn't tune into David Benavidez, if you guys didn't, those who turned into Terrence Crawford and watch him smoke Canelo, this fight. Shakur Stevenson is on that Canelo Crawford level, in my opinion. You have the fastest, the best best defensive fighter in the sport today in Shakur Stevenson. Against Teofimo Lopez, who does have agility, he has speed, he has power. He doesn't package it like Shakur. It's not in that same package like Shakur Stevenson. He is there. Shakur can't let his guard down because Teofimo can. He has one punch power that can catch you and change the momentum of the whole fight. But Shakur has shown, and he told me this personally 6 years ago. The name of this game is to hit, not get hit. Why am I going to get hit? Why am I going to stand in the ring and bang with somebody if the name of the game is to hit, not get hit? And he's one of the few guys who's able to stand in the middle of the ring, throw punches without getting hit because he's quick. This is going to be a barn burner, fans. This is going to be a good fight. If Shakur Stevenson fights a tactical fight, sticks a jab in Teofimo's mouth, slows him down with a couple gut punches, uses his length, it could be a boring fight for some of you guys. It could be a very boring fight. That's how he's going to win. He's going to stick the jab into Teofimo's mouth. He's going to slow him down with some gut punches, and he's just going to keep connecting him and pointing on him and not getting hit, not allowing Teofimo to load up and throw some haymakers at him. That's how he's going to win this fight. Teofimo's not going to go on there and outpoint Shakur Stevenson. That's not going to happen. This is not Teofimo beat. His most impressive win was Vasily Lomachenko. When at the time, Lomachenko guys weren't fighting Lomachenko. Teofimo went and got beat up by Kambosos unexpectedly. Didn't look ready for that fight. So Teofimo has a loss on his record because he wasn't ready. Shakur doesn't have a loss on the record because he stays ready. This is going to be a fantastic fight, fans. This is going to be a fantastic fight. January 31, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. It might cost me to get on a flight and go to New York. That's how good of a fight I believe this is going to be. But that's what I got for you guys, fans. This is your man Cam. It's week 361 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Thanks for sticking with me this long. The last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is thought about this for a minute. I love quotes. I just love quotes. I think they can be inspirational. They can be telling, give you something to kind of focus on and kind of guide yourself through the week. So this is what I want to give to you guys. With the December coming up, and this is going to be the obviously the end of the year. Hopefully, you guys got accomplished all that you wanted to get accomplished this year. But if not, this quote is for you. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Meaning those of you guys who made your I apologize for that, fans. I'm not sure what happened there. I apologize for that, fans. I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden, the screen went blank on me. But fans, if you guys for those of you who has made your New Year's resolution earlier in the year, obviously, and you didn't get it accomplished, it's okay. It's okay. It's quite all right. But the quote I want to share with you guys is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second time to plant a tree is right now. Just because you didn't get stuff done at the time schedule you wanted to get it done at doesn't mean you can't start now. You could do it right now, fans. You do it right now. You don't have to make a New Year's resolution in another 30 days. Just you're getting your stuff already started. So start right now. Whatever you didn't get done in 2025, you're moving into 2026. Start that stuff right now. Don't wait. And it'll just get easier for you. But fans, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. I love the fact that you've been here. Hit that subscribe button. If you're inclined, hit that share button. Hit that like button as well. Leave a comment or two. Thank you guys for tuning in. Any comments, complaints, encouragement, words of encouragement, share it with me. I'm all ears, fans. But thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, thank you for making our voice your choice.